part of what you call um, the Chitra postdoctoral fellows in epilepsy have been conducting a program ever since the COVID has uh, come into the picture, and that's running smoothly. We have two types of programs. One is purely academic, in which we deal with subjects which are not very commonly dealt with. And the other one is every month we were conducting a program which is named as Life Beyond Neurology, because as neurologists or doctors, we tend to concentrate only on the academic aspects of life and give no importance or seldom give any importance to the other aspects of life. So it is, in fact, a good idea, and the debut presentation was also done by Gopal Krishna there, who's going to speak on a different domain today. So this is a very perplexing question, which all of us have in mind, whether wealth is more important or some other aspects of life like education or your what do you call your character. So these issues do come up in everyone's mind. But I think one should have financial security, and at least a part of happiness is going to be related to that. That is what I think. But in a philosophical vein, many people can say that it's not going to. But we are living a very practical life, and as personally, I believe that some amount of financial security is part and parcel of your life, and it should be there for the happiness to be wholesome and for you to move ahead in life more a bit, further in a very lucid manner. So having said that, I think Gopal will be dealing with it in great detail. But there are several studies which have looked into how is the quality of life in different type of people, that whether the lower socioeconomic strata and the upper economic strata. But I think there is a ceiling for it. That is what I understood. That beyond a certain level, you don't need money for your lavishness, but definitely you need money for bringing in education or even there's something called roti kapda makan. Everything has to be earned only if you have money very handy. And I was just going through something, then just came across this a very beautiful statement made by none other than William Shakespeare in The Merchant of Venice. The situation is different, but he says that fluidity comes sooner by white hair, but competence lives longer. So is it better to be born with a high IQ and a very talented person, or to be born rich? That is a question that somebody is asking in that particular context, and this is the answer he gives, which means that wealth and riches brings along with it a package of worries also. So it is better to be talented. That is what he says. But having said that, uh, it was in the 16th century, and times have changed. And I think what my personal opinion, but we would love to hear from Gopal. Wish you should do whatever you wish, and you should be happy with your profession. And then if that can bring in or that can amass wealth for you, I don't think it is something very out of context. So with that, I introduce Dr. Gopal Krishna there, and I think Gopal is the right person to give this note or give this speech, because I still remember a decade back when Gopal left Sri Chitra, because he's also going to be very forthrightly and very brutally honest on this. He left the institute with nothing in his pocket, and from there he has reached a stage in which he has been telling me last few months that the financial security part has been completely now settled. So that is the right person to talk about it, not a person who is born with a silver spoon. He cannot come and give a talk like this. So with that, Gopal is a senior consultant neurologist in Narayana Health in Bangalore, and his transformation into a great orator had been again a very heartwarming thing which I have seen over the last 1 or 2 years. And with that small introduction, actually Raghavendra was supposed to give the introduction, but he's held up with some COVID case, and so I have to do that job. I welcome Gopal to start off his um, lecture on the particular topic. And the topic he is named as Live Your Wealthy Life from Today. So let's hear from Gopal.
Uh, can you see my slides?
Yes, of course.
Are you able to hear me?
Of course, yeah. You can carry on.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much, madam, for giving me this opportunity to deliver this talk. And basically in this talk, these are my disclosures. I just want to mention that I'm not a certified financial planner. The facts and assumptions are my views. You may reject it and implement your own. Just sharing my views and thinking process about money and wealth. Kindly don't get upset about my number used for demonstration. You may use your own numbers and calculations. So in this talk, I have divided my talk into two parts. One is called the money IQ part, where we need to know about the money and how it works and what we should do for the basic things. And I also felt that money EQ is also extremely important. And let us explore this in this particular talk. Am I audible?
It can be a little louder, but it's okay.
Okay, thank you. So the first thing is why this talk. Now, this talk is mainly because in my personal experience in the last 1 decade, I interact with many patients and many doctor friends, and I find that many people are really confused and they have worries related to money and worries related to the to wealth and finance. And I had during this journey, I have interacted with many patients also. And then sometimes I ask the patients and family members, what do you do? And I gather that there is a significant amount of worries and anxiety related to the money. Recently, I reviewed a report and I found that there is 70% of Indians, they report worries and anxiety related to money. During the current pandemic of global economic crisis due to the corona pandemic, this percentage has increased to the tune of 80 to 85%. So that's why this talk, during this journey, I will try to address what best we can do for ourselves such that we can minimize the worries and anxiety related to money. Now, let me discuss about the financial life. Sophie Tucker, she is an American actress. She says, I have been rich and I have been poor, and rich is better. My mother always used to say, coming from a poor and humble background, my mother always used to say, the money is the root cause of all evil. But when I reviewed the literature, I found George Bernard Shaw says, lack of money is the root of all evil. Again, George Bernard Shaw says, money is the most important thing in the world. It represents health, strength, honor, generosity, and beauty as conspicuously as the want of it represents illness, weakness, disgrace, meanness, and ugliness. None other than George Bernard Shaw. So the best thing which money can buy is financial independence or financial freedom. So, welcome to the financial life. You know how important it is. We spend most of our waking hours in doing something that can directly or indirectly influence our financial life. You can imagine 9 to 5 or 9 to 6, a major part of waking hours we spend for understanding or doing something which can indirectly or directly influences making money. So, let's explore this category. So, what exactly is money? So, money is nothing but a medium of exchange, full stop, nothing more, nothing less. Money has just a value for exchange. It allows us to obtain what we need to live. The most fascinating and important thing about money is that it can be stored for future exchange. Before money was created, imagine life thousands of years back. Money as a medium of exchange was not available. At that time, something called as bartering was available, where people will exchange goods for other goods, and life was not so easy. So, money made the life easy. It allows us to obtain what we need to live, and we can exchange it and we can store it for future exchange. Now, what is wealth? Wealth is the abundance of valuable financial assets or physical possessions which can be converted into a form that can be used for transactions. That's precisely what wealth is. Now, what is the classical story? The classical story is go to school, go to university, work hard, get a good job, get a stable job. The parents will or the grandparents will tell, son and daughter, please don't take any kind of risk. Get the most stable job in the world. Get a job which can give you pension, not only salary, but also pension, and so on. And be secure for the rest of your life. And be an employee. Get the salary and paycheck month after month. But today, in the world, with so much of uncertainty, even the government jobs are not secured. Okay, so therefore this is a myth that some security is there actually. Okay, how will your parents react if you say that you want to start a business of your own? Immediately, most of the time they will say, don't take risk, work hard, get a monthly salary, pay the highest tax, and be the employee. Employees, they pay the highest tax in our country. A vast majority of the people will follow. This is the normal rule, and this is the cultural system. This is the usual belief system, and this is the usual pattern of inheritance. We spend so much of time in the school and education. We don't know about financial education. Nothing will be taught related to money or finance or wealth in the school. And traditionally, this is not being taught, but we spend rest of our life, most of our waking hours, something related to money. It can have a tremendous impact. This is my personal belief that it can have a tremendous impact if the financial education is incorporated in the traditional educational system. Let me tell you about my story. In 2012, I was tensed, frustrated, and stuck in ambivalence. I was sitting in a restaurant near Sea Beach in Trivandrum. I have to relocate to a different city without my family. This is the financial crisis of my life. I lived 3 years alone, and my wife and children were in Trivandrum. I studied medicine and neurology for 13 years, and finally, I had the financial crisis. I had no financial support. I acknowledge my father for whatever he has done for me. My father had nothing to offer at that point of time because he himself was ill. In India, the financial structure for doctors are different in academic and non-academic setup. My financial condition worsened such that I decided to work for private hospitals. Though initially I had an interest to continue my academic career, I chose to leave the academic institution and join private hospital. I decided to work for private hospitals and continue to serve my patients to the best of my professional ability. I relocated from Trivandrum to Bangalore, and by assuming that nature sent gifts in ugly papers at some point of time in our life, and then I relocated. Slowly, I started learning about personal finances during my own journey. I did not learn anything about personal finance during my prolonged academic career. I'm not a certified financial planner or educator. I approached a financial planner in Bangalore to help me in my personal finance. Over a period of few years, I understood a little bit of personal finance, which helped me a lot. I am not a millionaire, but I understand where I am going and why I am going. That's the precisely the basis of my talk. A person need not be a millionaire or billionaire, but it's good to know where you are going, why you are going, and what's your destination. I realized if I knew this 15 years back, my personal financial condition would have been certainly different. But time is great. Even if I have lost yesterday, today is my day. And if I change my mind today, then I can change my future. The future is in my hand. Friends, please remember that your financial future or your entire life is in your hand. Till 2013, I never saved money, nor I had any understanding about future financial requirement, nor I knew anything about investment. I believe that it's crucial to have a deep understanding about your personal finance to be able to lead a smart and intelligent life. There is no harm in leading a smart and intelligent life at all. This can make a gigantic impact in your life. Now let's take a look into our personal finance, and this is something that we must need to define and document about our own situation. The situation, of course, differs for each individual, and you have to document about your own situations in your own personal finance. Now, this I have taken from the famous book called Rich Dad and Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. He's a Japanese American, and This book I read during 2012, and once I read this book, I had no hesitation that I have to leave my academic institution. And I have shared this point with some of my colleagues. Now, what happens is that the entire population of the world can be classified into four categories. In the right side, you see there are businessmen and investors, okay? And in the left side, you will see employee and self-employed people. Self-employed means doctors, chartered accountants, lawyers, or say, for example, anybody who is running a small business. This business means where the number of employees, these are the big business where the number of employees are generally more than 500. So nearly 90% of the world population are in this category, employee and self-employed category. And the businessmen and investors are around 10%, 10% of the individuals are in this category. You will be, of course, you may not be surprised. This employee and self-employed, which are the 90% of the category, they hold 10% of the wealth of the entire world. But these 10% of the people, they control the 90% of the wealth. These businessmen and investors, they control 90% of the wealth, and these employee and self-employed people, they control only 10% of the wealth. Now, coming to three important terms, OPM, OPT, and OPA. OPM means other people's money. OPT means other people's time. OPA means other people's audience. Now, as a self-employed professional, now I'm a self-employed professional in a hospital. So I can give 8 or 10 hours per day. Okay, nothing, not more than that. And if I work, I get paid. If I'm not paid for that day. That's what it is. For an employee who is working in central government or any government organization or any organization, they will be paid monthly. Their salary will not increase, and the salary increment largely depends upon the organizational setup, or it may increase yearly or every 2 yearly, depending upon the situation and the circumstances. Okay. So other people's money means the businessman or the business organization, they use other people's money. For example, the venture capitalists, they are ready to invest. So they will use other people's money. For example, there are many hospitals, those who pay their salary to the self-employed professionals or employees around 10 or 15th of every month. Why do they do that? Because during that time, they may put their money in a liquid fund so that they can earn some extra amount of interest, and then that can be paid as salary. Okay. OPT. Now, as an individual doctor, I can work for 8 or 12 hours maximum, not more than that. But just imagine about the business owner of any hospital. For example, now let us say Dr. Devi Sethi, he is a business owner of our hospital. So let us say if Dr. Devi Sethi has got 100 doctors. So 100 doctors working 8 hours for him. That means even if whether he works or not, already he has got 800 hours in a single day. And that's how businessmen, they make the money. That means multiple people are working for them, but I am working for myself. If I stop working, I am not paid. If I work, I get paid, and I have own limitations. Now, next is called OPA. OPA means other people's audience. For example, if somebody is starting a new business, they do not have customers. So they go and join hands with other company, and then they can send invitation to their permanent customers, and that is something called as OPA. So rich people, they always use OPT, OPM, and OPA. Most of the businessmen, they will use this concept, and then that's how they become rich. What is the source of income? And most common source of income for a vast majority of the people is only single source, salary. And find out what are the other source of income you have. These are the source of income: rental income, dividend from stock, mutual funds, fixed deposit interest, royalties from book, CD or YouTube channel, or professional advice, business, agriculture. These are the various sources of income. Now, how can you increase your income? Now, let us say, how can a professional, okay, as most of the people here are doctors, how can a professional increase his income? He can increase by working more the number of hours. If I am a single doctor, then I am working 8 hours. If I want to make more money, that means I have to stretch more. I have to work 12 hours and 60 hours. There is no way that I can make more money. Next is acquiring a new skill. Skill is the most important thing. For example, I am not doing any intervention. I'm a neurologist. Okay. I'm a kind of a neurophysician where I am not directly involved in any kind of intervention. But for example, if any neurologist, he knows some kind of intervention where he is better skilled than me, of course, he's going to receive more money. That's how it is. Skill matters a lot. Now, what is passive income? Passive income is the income where you don't have to actively work on that particular area. for say more than a few days a year, like rental income. For example, getting royalty from the books. These are the examples of passive income. What is delegate income? Delegate income means just like, say, for example, the hospital owner or the many people are working for them, and these people are somehow directly or indirectly helping the business owner to make money. That's called delegate income. At this point of time, I will tell you a story of one of my patients. One of my patient, he saw me 1 year back. He had migraine, and he come with his wife, and his problem got solved. And just I was checking with him, what do you do? He said both the husband and wife, they work in a bank, but they thought that this money which they earn is less, and then what they do, quite interesting, it's a small business but good that I mean people think in a different way. So he has a restaurant where it is not open to any people, where they prepare the meal for 100 people, and this 100 meal is being sent to an organization where the 100 employees, they eat the meal every single day. This is called as a small business to business deal. That means he does not have to keep his restaurant open for 24 hours. Once the meal is supplied to that particular organization, they close their day. And this particular banker who works in a bank, he does not have to work continuously for his this the second business. And in fact, he makes more money from the second business than his first business. Okay. So that's called the example of a delegate income. And many rich people, they have got multiple sources of income. Now, again, from Rich Dad and Poor Dad textbook, this is assets and liabilities. I recently, I mean, 6 months back, one of my friend told that I have booked a flat close to 2.5 crores in Kormangla area, and then I think that that is my greatest asset. Anyway, I don't want to teach or correct anybody because everybody's concept can be different. So the house where we live is not the asset, it is the liability. Even if you have paid the entire loan amount, it continues to remain as a liability till you stay there. Let me be very clear about it. Because even if you have cleared your loans, you still have to pay the property tax, you still have to pay the electricity bill, still you have to pay the maintenance charge of the society. So therefore, it is better not to consider the house where you live that is the asset. Okay, the car that you drive is not an asset. The debts, the credit cards, all these things are liabilities. Whereas your real estate, if you have got a flat and which puts some money to you, okay, the assets means they are putting money to you, liabilities means they take money out of your pocket. Land, gold and silver, the precious metal, stock, mutual funds, these are the assets, but these are the liabilities. It's good to know what are your assets, what are your liabilities. Better not to say that the house where you stay is the asset. Now, I got a call from a Sakrawal hospital. I don't work in this hospital. And this call is from one of my friend's brother who got admitted with high blood pressure and sweating early in the morning. He was extensively evaluated by a good team of doctors in Sakra Hospital, and they told there is nothing wrong. And then subsequently, they referred him to a psychologist and psychiatrist because he had anxiety. And then he called me, and then I understood that looking, and he was pressurized from his peers and the family members and in-laws, and then he invested a huge amount of money in buying a flat in the central part of the Bangalore, whereas subsequently he assumed that his salary will increase. It was that he did not get the increment, and he has to pay 70% of his income as EMI, and subsequently he slowly, this financial miscalculation led to serious amount of stress in him. And I tried to understand his situation, and I finally came to know that he is in the financial crisis. And that's how most of the people, they behave. They try to buy something which they cannot afford, and then they end up in financial trouble. I requested him to sell his flat and go back to a rented apartment, and you will see that you will have definitely the freedom in your own financial life. But subsequently he did not contact me, so he landed up in a financial crisis. So when somebody is paying 70% of his income as a house loan, then obviously that's going to be a difficult situation. It's good to know what's inflation. Inflation refers to the rise in the price of most goods and services of daily or common use, such as food, clothing, and housing. That means gradually over a period of time. These are the inflation index in India. Of course, I mean, right now it is difficult to discuss here, but it's good to know that over a period of time, the buying capacity of the money may decrease. So therefore, while planning for financial goal, inflation must be taken into account. Now, this is the story of another physician, and You know that during this pandemic, even the doctors have lost their job. And once somebody resigned from a job, the chance of getting a job is difficult. Frustrated and tensed about 90% of his pay cut, one of my friend who is a physician, he called me, and we are friends for last 35 years. And this is the time of global economic crisis. Not easy to get a new job, but some people have transformed themselves even during this tough time. Tough time will not last, but tough people will definitely. He already had a clinic, and what he did is that during the corona initial part of the corona crisis, many larger hospitals they could not accommodate patients. So slowly patients started coming to him, and he started seeing patients free of cost initially. And in turn, in the last 6 months, he got significant financial reward because he created a value system in his locality. He helped more people, and people became very happy. And some people started paying him more than what he deserved, but some poor people did not pay him, and he is absolutely happy. So failure and difficult time. Failure is the fertilizer for success. Very, very important thing. If a person is not ready to fail, then he cannot test the reward of success. Failure and difficult time leads to transformation, and this leads to long-lasting project. Please remember, this is Albert Einstein said, insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. If you want to change your financial situation or any situation in your life, you have to think differently, and you have to take action, and you have to do something which you have never done, such that your dream life becomes reality. If you continue to do the same thing, of course, you are going to remain the same. And if you expect different results, that's nothing but insanity. Can you become a millionaire without doing business? Yes, of course you can become. There are enough studies, and people have become millionaire. Time, you have to understand time, compounding interest, and saving. How fast your money grows will also influence how fast you become a millionaire. And if you want to become a millionaire or billionaire, you have to, of course, start using OPT, OPM, and OPA, and you have to do business and investment. And you can become a millionaire or billionaire by creating value. Most of the millionaires and billionaires, actually, their fundamental principle is that they have created a value system in the society, and money is a byproduct. Money is not the direct goal. Money is just a byproduct. The more value you create, the winners, they know that they are going to create the value system. This is a small example I want to give you. If you are not a businessman, I am going to give the example of two individuals. This is the first one is a neurotechnician whose age is 23. He wants to retire at the age of 65. But initial 2 to 3 years, he does not want to invest. So he has 37 years left to become 65. This is another neurologist. He started working at the age of 35. He also did not want to invest for 1 or 2 years. So the time left to be 65 is 37 here. Here it is 27. Now, this person opted to invest 1,000 rupees a month. And then at the age of 65, he gets 82 lakhs rupees by investing 1,000 rupees because he has 37 years. This person, who is a neurologist, he has to invest 3.5 times more. He has to invest 3.5 times more because he has only 27 years left. This gentleman is 1 decade ahead and gets the same amount of money. I hope you understand. Now, in your mind's eye, if you have money, then you can put more zeros and understand how much money you can generate if you wish to work till 65 years of age. And this is a small, simple formula. That means the logic is very simple. Save and invest early if you are not willing to do any business, and teach this idea to your children. There is no harm that your children know this idea. And I wish I knew this when I was 18, but I'm not worried. But that's why I'm trying to teach people, that trying to inform people that this power of compounding is very, very important, that we need to know. It takes time. It takes time from seed to fruit, and financial discipline is definitely required. So please look at the logic, okay? So there is definitely power of compounding. Only 3.5, this doctor has to invest 3.5 times more, and this person only 1,000 rupees a month can lead to this much. What is your monthly income from your job and business? Be honest, you write down in your personal diary. I mean, if you really want to take action, you have to do something. Do you have any monthly budget? And if you don't have, do it, document it. I know I discussed this with many of my friends, and they told, I don't want to do this task. At least once in a year, it is good to do this. It's a fun exercise, and you will know where you are heading. Do you save certain proportion of your income? Say, for example, 10 or 15% of your income. Do you think that your financial situation would have been different if you could have saved certain proportion of your income ever since you started earning? Do you know about your financial goals? Don't worry if you don't know. At least start thinking now if you wish to change. I have divided my financial goals as short term, which is within 2 years, medium term, which is 5 years, and long term, which is 10 to 15 years. You can have your own goals. I'm just giving an example of myself so that it may help you understand. I precisely know and I have documented this in my personal diary. My short-term goal is to buy a car. My medium-term goal are making a down payment for my house and to finance the higher education of my children. My long-term goals are my retirement planning, repayment of my loan, my children's marriage, and to finance my vacations. I know clearly the numbers in each and every goal. Friends, this is one of the most important exercise. I think that it is good if you know all these things, because this will simply, it will allow a system in place, and it will evaporate the money worry. What is emergency fund? Do you have any emergency fund? A certain proportion of money which is kept in the bank for 6 months, deposited in bank, and it is readily available. If you don't have, start thinking about it and implement it as soon as it is possible on your part. During this economic crisis, many people have lost their job. Many people receive only a proportion of their original income. So therefore, I strongly believe that we must build emergency fund for ourselves. There is no harm in building an emergency fund, and the fund is available. See, for example, I'm a doctor. If I fracture my right hand tomorrow, I can't go to the hospital and I will not be paid. Who will pay for my family? That is why emergency fund is extremely important. Do you have health insurance? If not, start thinking about it. Get it done. With increasing the cost of healthcare, I suggest that everybody should have health insurance. Do you have term insurance? If you don't, please start thinking about it and implement it. Don't get emotional here. The sudden death of an actively earning member of the family is the worst experience that can be imagined by any family. This is a huge loss to the family, and it cannot be replaced, both economical as well as emotional loss. But a term insurance may help financially to some extent. Do you share your financial documents with your spouse or children if they're adults? If not, do it. In addition to the hard copy, keep a soft copy of all documents related to your personal finance and share with your spouse and children. Who will inherit your money and wealth after your death? Is it for charity? What proportion is for charity? And what proportion will be inherited by your family members? Good to know that. You know that many people fight after the death of the parents or grandparents. They keep fighting the brothers and sisters. You know that. So therefore, I think that it's my fundamental job to do all this work before I die. Please don't worry or get upset with this question. Life is absolutely uncertain. It can unfold in any direction. So therefore, I believe that there is no harm in getting organized to the best of my ability. Please think and implement as per your own requirement. Do you invest consistently and regularly with discipline? Do you think that your financial situation would have been different if you would have invested a few years back? If not, don't worry, but start doing now. If you believe in investing, please do invest in something that you understand. You may wish to take professional help, but you need to understand it by yourself. Please understand your own tax regulations as applicable in your own country or states. These exercises, this 11-point exercises which I told you, will make a tremendous impact in your personal finance. Believe me, it is a tremendous impact in my personal finance. I'm not aiming to become a millionaire, but this put a system in place. Many people focus on increasing their income. Good, you must focus on increasing the income, but don't forget to manage your money. Inability to manage your money can lead to poor financial life despite a good income. So the journey of 1,000 miles must begin with a single step. The beginning of the change is to start thinking about it and implement and execute it, and execution is the toughest task. Once you do this exercise, your fear, insecurity about money will improve. This will provide you a sense of direction. A person without any specific sense of direction is going to waste his time, life. A sense of direction and purpose will be the best guide in the life's journey. A lack of planning is certainly going to have a negative impact. Spending sometimes either alone or with your spouse will tremendously shift your financial life. Do it today. Don't postpone. Many people have fear and anxiety and insecurity in relation to their financial situation. A well-documented plan is certainly going to help. Why do you need money and how much money is required? This is the biggest question everybody asks. The biggest question about money is how much you need. And once you understand this 11-point question, you yourself will come with a specific number which is required for you. Many individuals don't know about this number, and believe me, they need more and more, as maximum as they can accumulate, and they stop living their life and start running towards money. I strongly feel that this is not something that we need to be emotional about, and this is not something that arbitrary number helps. In fact, I know precisely how much I need, and that's very, very important. That once you know precisely, then definitely that gives a sense of direction. Clear goals, clear action plan leads to mastery and extraordinary life. Vague goals, vague plans, vague discussions, confusion leads to poor and mediocre and the average and lousy life. Again, your personal finance will help you guide. So from today, I believe that you will be able to figure out how much is exactly required for you. So why do you need money? So these are the some of the reasons. Okay, you can have monthly expenses and all these reasons why you need money. And you write down why do you need money for any specific reason. But many people also feel that money gives security, social reasons. There are thousands of reasons why people say that they need money. Fine. But why do you need money? You must document in your personal diary and see it. And then if some reasons are not there, you delete it from your diary. Okay. Once you document these points in a personal diary, you will see that you will further strengthen yourself in relation to money and wealth. Friends, please remember, nothing works till you yourself work. Understanding the big why will guide you further in this direction. And believe me, this is such a fun exercise that helps me get out of any kind of illusion related to money. My fear and anxiety and insecurity about money evaporates. I get a sense of direction. I don't worry about money. At least the last thing that I worry today is about money, because you have to put a system in place. I know many people worry due to lack of understanding. They resist to do all this work, which takes hardly any time. I want to say that I want to run my own financial race. I do not want to live somebody else's financial life. My financial life is specific for me. This is the only reason why the overall situation doesn't improve even with increase in income. I know that it is important to put your energy and skill in making and increasing your income, but I also strongly feel that understanding the precise financial detail is the smartest and the most intelligent way of living life. If I would have understood about my personal finance during my childhood or during my academic education, I would not have left my family to make money and stay alone for 3 years. A clear lack of understanding and analysis led to a poor decision. And this is the biggest regret of my life, that I stayed 3 years away from my wife and children. That's why I do not want to trade my entire day for money anymore, full stop. Nor I want to take any decision which jeopardizes my family and personal life. Yes, now I will show you. This is, I hope that some people may be knowing this. This is Maslow, the psychologist, the famous psychologist, who stated that people are motivated to achieve certain needs, and that some needs take precedence over the others. This is Maslow's theory, hierarchy of needs, represented as a pyramid. So the basic needs are physiological needs: the food, water, warmth, and rest, and then the safety and security. Next is psychological needs, your belongingness, love needs, intimate relationship, friends, esteem needs, prestige, feeling of accomplishment. And that's the final one. In the pyramid and hierarchy of human needs, the last is self-actualization, achieving one's full potential, including creative activities. And this is the psychologist who has stated that people are motivated to achieve certain needs, and that some needs take precedence over the others. Behavior leading to self-actualizations could be experiencing like a child, full absorption and concentration. Children have the best concentration. They quickly forget the past and they engage in the next activity, trying new things instead of sticking to the safe paths, listening to your own feelings, in evaluating experiences instead of voice of tradition, authority, and or the majority, being honest to yourself, being prepared to be unpopular if your views do not coincide with those of the majority, taking responsibility, trying to identify your differences, and having the courage to give them off. Human beings are motivated by hierarchy of needs. Needs are organized in a hierarchy in which more basic needs must be more or less met, not all or non-phenomena, prior to higher needs. The order of needs is not rigid, but instead may be flexible based on the external circumstances and the individual differences. And the most behavior is motivated, and that's simultaneously determined by more than one basic need. So, friends, 20 years from now, you will be more disappointed by things that you didn't do than by ones that you did. It's good to have money and the things that money can buy, but it's good too to check up once in a while and make sure that you have not lost the things that money can't buy. The Stoic philosopher says that it is not the man who has little, but the man who craves for more is the poor. Money is a good, money is just a tool. It will take you wherever you wish, but it will never replace you as the driver. So what is wealth? Yes, wealth, definition of wealth can be personalized. And this is what I define wealth. And many people have defined wealth according to their own terms. In the IQ part of the session, I have already told you what exactly the wealth means. Health, knowledge, and health, knowledge, skill, building human relationship, loving yourself, and enjoying the present moment with total acceptance with whatever you already have. That's wealth. Focus on what you have. Train and practice to appreciate what you have. Change your thinking. Don't think and feel miserable by the things that you don't have. Gratitude practice is the key. Gratitude for whatever you already have. You are already wealthy. Do not make yourself so miserable by focusing on what you don't have. You have to focus, you have to change your thinking process. You have to wire your brain in a positive direction. And then you see there is a massive shift happens inside you, and then your life will begin to change. This is Ken Honda. I have done a program about money IQ from Ken Honda and Mind Valley platform. And Ken Honda, he teaches about money EQ. And this is Wahe Takada, his guru, his mentor. Ken Honda, when he was 29, he took off. At that time, his newborn daughter came to this world. And subsequently, he chose not to work for money. Okay. And he started teaching people about money EQ. And he has taught millions of people all over the world. And in that program, in the Mind Valley program, Ken said that his mentor, Wahe Takeda, he was a millionaire, but he lived his life like a monk. And one of the fascinating story what he told is that Wahe Takada, whenever he used to go to the restaurant, he used to donate and gift the gold coins to the waiters. And when the waiters will be surprised and sometimes they will cry because nobody has given this amount of tea to them, Wahe Takada will say, this is for your smile. This is for your smile. Keep it. This is for your smile. That's Wahe Takeda. And there was an event where 600 people came on the day of his birthday. And Wahe Takeda donated 600 gold coins to these people. And that's Wahe Takeda, who was a Jain millionaire, but he lived his life like a monk. These are the three great people. I would like to quote them during the financial discussions. This is Charlie Munger. He is now around 97 years of age. He works with Warren Buffett. This is Warren Buffett, close to 90 years of age, and this is Wahe Takeda. If you buy things you don't need, you will soon send things you need. So financial discipline is a must. The difference between a successful person and a really successful person is that this successful person says no. He knows he will keep the main thing is the main thing. And they know how to declutter their life, how to declutter their day. They will always say no to things which doesn't matter and which is not in deep alignment with them. If you are in the luckiest 1% of the humanity, you owe it to the rest of the humanity to think about the other 99%. This is the prescription for the secret of a long and happy life by the 95-year-old billionaire Charlie Munger. His prescription for happiness in life is you don't have a lot of envy. You don't have a lot of resentment. You don't overspend your income. You stay cheerful in spite of your troubles. You deal with reliable people. And you do what you are supposed to do. And all these simple rules work so well to make your life better. His prescription is absolutely logical, he says. Staying cheerful is a wise thing to do. Munger told the quick adding that in order to do so, you have to let go of negative feelings. So finally, this is almost Charlie Munger has got 100 years of experience in the financial world, and the prescription for a happy and successful life is you have to let go of your negative feelings. And when you replace your negative feelings with positive ones, you can focus better with the task at hand, and you can create financial abundance for your life if that is your aim. But you must let go of your negative feelings. That's the key to a successful, long, and happy life. And a classic psychology study on why winning lottery won't make you happier. And there are studies are there that even if you get suddenly 7 or 8 crore Indian rupees, after a certain period of time, you are not going to remain happy. And these are the studies. In this interview with the experimenters, two groups were asked, among other things, to rate the amount of pleasure they got from everyday activities. Small but enjoyable things like chatting with a friend, watching television, eating breakfast, laughing at a joke, and receiving a compliment. These are the ways people become happy, and these are the small wins of every single day. Success is not a destination, it's a process. Once we understand that success is just a process, then life becomes very easy and you start enjoying each and every moment of your life. But if you think that success is a destination, that destination may not come, because we, the human beings, we are governed by a principle called as hedonic adaptation. You have a beautiful car today, and after some time, you develop some kind of hedonic adaptation, and you need a better car, and you need a better house, and this need will continue to go on. Therefore, you must know where you are going, why you are going, and you must know where you want to stop. So, therefore, psychological studies have clearly shown that winning lotteries also, the happiness are not going to last for a long time. So that is why you might have seen in your personal experience that two individuals, same amount of money, same job, same place, maybe sitting just adjacent to each other in the office. They have differential joy, peace, and freedom. Appreciate everything and everybody. So therefore, I think that financial freedom could be a myth. It's the most important thing is the inner freedom is the most important thing. And you have to define success according to your own rule. You don't run the race of somebody else. Don't run the don't run somebody else's race. You define success according to your own internal standard. You compete with yourself, not with anybody else. Now, coming to the money worry evaporation theory. Money cannot buy peace, serenity, tranquility, extraordinary relationship, and happiness. The fear, insecurity, and illusion about money and materials, without any clear understanding about the precise details of finance, is one of the most common reasons of an overall poor quality of mind and life. Imagine living a life full of joy, peace, and happiness without any worry related to money or other aspects of life. The moment you transcend this fear, the moment you transcend this fear about money or life, that's the beginning of true happiness. And then you'll see that your life will shift to a different direction. Get rid of all fear related to money and materials. These are all pseudo fear. Do not follow the typical social norms anymore and see the massive change in your life. In fact, you will be able to create financial abundance for yourself as you would be able to focus better with the task at hand, and your mind is not occupied with lots of unnecessary anxiety and stress. Do not try hard to fit in the crowd. The crowd is full of mediocrity and average. A refusal to think and implement the typical social norms is the beginning of an extraordinary life. This is the beginning of a change. You refuse to think from the mainstream. Do not ever neglect your family and relationship for money and materials. As I already mentioned about my own regret, you'll never get another opportunity to live again. Live fully with your loved ones and build an extraordinary relationship. Ken Honda said, we live in a city called a scarcity, which is in the mindset. Abundance also is in the mindset. But in our brain, scarcity is deeply wired. And you want to get rid of that behavior, you have to practice the abundant mindset. Love what you do, create value system, and always deliver more than what, and you will see the change. The winners, the true leaders, they know that they have to deliver more, and they know how to create the value system. Money and wealth is just a byproduct. You will get more if you give more. The law of cause and effect is the perfect law to emphasize that you will receive what you really do and nothing more or less. So where is the problem? Who antagonizes you? Who is your enemy? Who is your enemy to be able to lead a smart, intelligent, successful, happy life? Your procrastinating brain. The brain and human evolution, the limbic system versus the prefrontal cortex, and the battle continues. The battle is in your mind. Everybody, you all of majority of our neurologists, you know that the battle is in your mind. So the battle is between the limbic system and the neocortex. The battle is between the limbic system and the frontal cortex. The limbic system bombards a lot of old traditional theories to the neocortex, and then finally the neocortex succumbs to the old theory and continues to behave in the same old fashion. So therefore, we have to change our behavior. Okay, so according to the theory of the neuroplasticity also, if you start behaving in a different way, start doing different kind of rituals on daily basis for about say a year, then definitely your behavior is definitely going to change. So the procrastinating brain is the main source of problem. So that's why I believe that if anybody is able to manage his own mind, then he wins the life game. Managing the mind is the single most first and the last parameter to achieve success and happiness in life. So manage your mind and win the life game. Think and win. Buddha said, what you think, you become. Why you are an epileptologist or an interventional neurologist or a neurologist today? Because you thought about it and you did whatever the requirements, and that's why you are a neurologist today. So what you think, you become. What you feel, you attract. And what you imagine, you create. Bob Proctor said, if you see in your mind's eye, you will hold in your hand. You know, in the sports psychologist, what happens is that this is the training. Then if they are not able to do physical practice, then they will be trained to do visual practice. And there is no much statistically significant difference between these two groups. And this is mostly practiced in the sports psychology. So the people, those who are playing the games in their own mind, also are able to rewire themselves towards the path of success. So vividly visualizing your success, happy and fulfilled life in your own mind, you will definitely be able to create that life for yourself, and your dream life is going to be a reality. And the first and foremost thing is that the winner, first they see this in their mind's eye. You are smart and intelligent enough to achieve your desired success. So work and focus on yourself. Gratitude practice is the key. What have you not received so far? Just imagine. Practice gratitude 360 degree. Gratitude 360 degree means we practice gratitude in professional life, thanking the colleagues, thanking the patients for whatever we are learning from them, in the social life, in the family life, in your financial life, in your intellectual life. And when you express gratitude, gratitude is the antidote for fear, anxiety, negative emotions. The moment you start practicing gratitude, you can practice gratitude by writing in a journal, or you can do silence practice. And if you practice gratitude every single day and express gratitude in your social life, family life, personal life, financial life, and overall your intellectual life, if you practice gratitude in almost all spheres of the life, you will see that your life will change. The negativity is going to evaporate at some point of time. You will start expressing the positive energy. You will be able to focus more with the task at hand. And then magic happens. You can create financial abundance for yourself because your productivity will significantly improve. You are able to concentrate more because your mind is not filled with any kind of negative thoughts. You know where you are going, you know why you are going, and that's the magic of gratitude practice. Work from the wonderful gifts. It doesn't matter whether whatever may be your financial situation, please understand that the God has installed the most powerful software that's called the human brain. And everybody has got a rational thinking process. So thinking, planning, and ability to control, these are the most powerful gifts that which we have. And once we understand that it is our own ability to think, plan, execute, and control our emotions, this will lead to a better awareness. Better awareness leads to better choice in daily actions, and then better choice means better actions. So awareness, choice, and action in every spheres of your life will translate your dream life into a reality. So awareness, choice, and action is the success formula. So between the stimulus and response, you always have one thing, that's your personal choice. Even the toughest time of your life, you can make the choice in a positive direction, or you have the ability to make a choice in a wrong direction. So the best to best and the in the leaders, they know they have made the choice in the right direction, and they have emerged powerfully from the difficult phase of their life. You only live once. Live it fully and joyfully. Take self responsibility. You're absolutely responsible for your own entire life, success and failure. The more you blame others, situation, family, friends, and everybody, the less productive you are going to become. That is why you have to take self responsibility. Nobody is responsible for your own life. You are the script writer, you are the producer, director of your own life, nobody else. So don't regret for things that you could have done. So there is no worry for risk, fear, and dare to dream big. Stop worrying for money and start living your wealthy life from today. You only live once. Now, this is the story of one of my patient's son. He called me one day from outside India. He's tensed, he's frustrated, and he's blaming himself. He's a 40-year-old male, and he asked me in the phone how and why my mother died suddenly and unexpectedly. I relocated outside India thinking that one day I will settle, I will call my mother, and we will fulfill all our dreams. But his dream could not be fulfilled. His mother died suddenly and unexpectedly, possibly due to sudden cardiac arrest. And she did not give any time. They could not go to a hospital. She died. And he told me, doctor, I relocated outside India thinking that I will accumulate some amount of money and we will have a wonderful life. But I did not get a chance in my life. I forgot how to live. I had a prolonged conversation with him, and this is what he told me just recently, 2 months back. I forgot how to live. Don't postpone living. The most important thing, please understand, in the journey of the life, don't postpone living. That's the first and last message which I want to give. This is a nurse who has written a book, The Regrets of Dying. A nurse in the end of life care shares the most common regrets of dying. She has interviewed these people and then she come out with the 5 important conclusions. And these people have said, I wish I had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. I wish I didn't work so hard. I wish I had the courage, I had the courage to express my feelings. I wish I had stayed in touch with my friends. I wish that I had let myself be happier. So these are the 5 regrets of the dying. Ask yourself, take a pause. What do you do in your prime time? According to me, the prime time is 6 to 10 p.m. because most of us are doctors or professionals, or most people they have their work. What do you do between 6 to 10 p.m.? Ask yourself, where are you going? Where are you going? Are you traveling in the road best traveled? Are you traveling in the busiest road? Or the road where most of the people travel? Or the crowded road? How are you going to travel in the life journey? When did you see the sunset last? Just think, this is very fundamental question which I have asked. Ask yourself, are you busy being busy? Invest in yourself. The biggest investment that you can do for yourself is to invest in yourself, in learning, skill, and invest in relationship. Connect with your loved ones and friends. Get out of all distractions in the prime time. Make the world a better place. Spread the power of love, peace, and understanding. You can make a global impact by acting locally and by improving yourself. And when you are born, you cried, and the whole world rejoiced. Live your life in such a way that when you die, the whole world cries and you rejoice. Rabindranath Tagore. Mahatma Gandhi said, live as if you were to die tomorrow. Learn as if you were to as if to live forever. If each one of us would only sweep our own doorstep, the whole world is going to be clean. Mother Teresa. Do what you love. There is nothing to lose as death is 200% certain. There is no harm in connecting to the mortality. There is no point in becoming emotional here. So I conclude by saying that the action and focus precedes success. Gratitude is the antidote for fear and negativity. The two time tested assets are time and health. You may have a lot of money, but you may not have time to spend for yourself or with your loved ones or friends. So, time and health. Imagine 10 years from now, will you have time for yourself? And in which health condition will you be? Invest in yourself. Take time to live. The journey of happy and fulfilled and wealthy life begins now. Don't postpone living. And thank you so much for hearing.
Thank you so much, Gopal. I think this talk was one which many people were requesting for a long time. And I think it's because of this particular pandemic which had hit us out of the blue. And that had brought the what do you call the economic crisis to many of the families, including doctors. So this was a much awaited talk, and I can see only comments and praises for you here. But if somebody wants to raise a question, they're welcome to do that. I think there's one here which I would read out to you. Uh, that is from Paresh. Which life-term plan do you recommend with best of the claim settlement ratio? But
Uh,
these are two
Paresh,
exotic terms for me.
Paresh, Paresh, this is not the forum to discuss that, so I will respond to that personally to him. This is not the forum.
Okay, I also did not understand anything about it. So, uh, yeah, so now it's open for discussion. Whoever wants to make any comments or any queries. Um, Gopal, the talk was very good and it was lucid, and it would really be wonderful to bring up a very lucrative career. But having said that, your journey you just mentioned in a few words, there was a very glancing through about your story. So why don't I know that you have nothing, I mean, to hide. So from your journey from Trivandrum and then to Hyderabad and to Bangalore, what exactly you did to reach at this position of
No,
what do you call the
see, the
financial security?
most important thing is that see, to be honestly speaking, I don't have much money. The first and last game to be won is in the mind. Okay, when I
I only
understood
meant financial stability. That's all.
that is what I have shown in the Maslow's theory of the human need. So you need to have basic security for yourself, and next is your skill. You have to invest in yourself. Okay, today I think that I am in the best profession, and I express gratitude to myself that I'm a doctor, because in this global crisis, like for example this corona crisis and a huge economic crisis, and even if I don't have a job in the hospital, I can go and practice anywhere. So that's why I feel I'm lucky that I'm a doctor and directly I can help many people. Okay. And in that, definitely some amount of financial reward is definitely there. I personally feel that after attending a basic security, the subsequent part of the money requirement, actually, I personally think, according to my philosophy, is something that is not required. Okay, once a person puts a system in place, for example, you know that you have some emergency fund, you know how that you have money for the education of your children, and then you know that you have put a system for your retirement if you are not getting pension from government. Then I don't think that there is that 24 by 7 we need to worry about money. And the problem is that people, those who are worried too much for money, they may not be able to make that amount of money, because these worries and anxieties will lead to decreased attention span and focus. So the quality of the work is going to come down. So my philosophy is that after attending the basic goal, the most important thing is that a person should invest in themselves. And see, for example, if you put a system in place, like you have an emergency fund, you have some amount of investment which takes, and you have a term insurance, then most of the things will be taken care. So these are the structure, the 11 points which I discussed. Just putting that into the structure, you may not have the money right now. Okay, it is not that getting X amount of money gives financial security. It is putting a system in place. Okay, so if I put a system in place, that gives a sense of satisfaction, and every single day I don't have to keep on changing job from now Bangalore to Bhubaneswar or somewhere. I don't have enough money right now, but the system helps a lot. That's what I want to tell. Suppose at the age of 35, if a neurologist or any doctor wants to put a system in place, then his entire life will be free of worries and anxiety. And that's what I want to tell.
That's great.
And people, those who want to make huge amount of money, they definitely have to go to the next, the right side of the category, which is called business and investment. Okay, I personally don't want to do that. I'm happy wherever I am. It has got its own merit and demerit.
Yeah, let's not talk about businessmen here because I think, grab money and they gather money, and it is for the generations to come. And the latest term, which is called sugar daddies, they have to amass wealth for the next generations to come. That is from Kankana Ranaut, I learned that. So if you don't want that, you live your life very pleasantly. And one more question I have, Gopal, is 65 years is a cutoff of retirement. So whether it's 65 or 60 or 70, do you think that the doctors and the professionals should retire? Because that is not the trend that we see. Let me complete, because no one wants to retire. They just want to extend their term on and on and on. And then they straight want to go to the graveyard from the hospital or wherever they are working. So nobody wants a retirement these days. So what is your comment on that?
See, this is a little difficult question, but my philosophy is what happens is that, especially for doctors, what happens is they remain very busy, and they remain busy throughout their professional life. So, in that bargain, what happens is that the other aspects of the life they don't discover, and that is why they want to continue their professional life till the end. And that's how they contribute to the society. But what happens is that in government setup, or say for in any organizational setup, and if the older generations don't retire, then sometimes there may not be any vacancy for the young generation. So this is a little difficult question. It is a personal call. But exploring the life as a whole, and having some hobbies, and how to spend the time after some cutoff, I mean, they need to know. I precisely know how many years I want to work in the mainstream, and then subsequently I want to retire from the mainstream. There is no harm in having your own clinic and working for some time. But again, that is a personal choice. I know some people, those who continue to work for a very long time, but it's difficult to, I mean, make any judgment.
Yeah, at least for the doctor fraternity, they don't believe in retirement.
Yes, yes,
99% of them,
yes,
they
yes,
work till the last day
yes,
of life because they
yes,
are not used to what is happening outside the world of academics or outside the world of their
yes,
profession. They have
yes.
no idea at all. So if you instill that idea very late into their life, where their brain cells are degenerating, how can they pick up their bag and then go to Himalayas or whatever place and sit there
The
and
That's
enjoy
the
nature? It's not possible, no. So it has to be inculcated very well in advance. From 30, 35 years, you have to understand what else do you want in life other than your profession. So,
the most important thing what I feel is that what is happening to our behavior is that, see, if you have a strict pattern of behavior and doing it for decades and decades, then there is a strict set of wiring in the brain, and it is very, very difficult to, I mean, rewire. Okay, so therefore this so-called the awareness, choice and action, this concept, if these concepts are exposed to, say, for example, children, and then gradually they will be able to change their behavior. So that is why it doesn't matter whether there is a qualified or a scientist, they keep on repeating the same behavior over and over again. And it is not so easy to give up that habit.
so for us, two-thirds of the journey is over. I think we should make our children understand that this is not the studying, going to school, then coming back home, and again sitting with books. That is not what world is. World is actually outside it. This is just the tip of the iceberg. That is what
Yes.
the next generation should understand, and I think our children should understand that. So, any more questions, queries, comments? It was a very lucid presentation. I think um, many people, like many have put comments here that they were waiting for this and all privately to me as well. So, any more? Let us ask somebody one or two questions who is outside the profession, outside this medical profession, for example. Who else is there here? Yes, Vicky, do you want to add something? Because you've commented something about Warren Buffet here. It's a private one to me. Wall Street is the place where people ride on Rolls Royce to get advice from those who take the subway. So that is by Pinky. Why don't you comment on it, Pinky? Come on, speak up, speak up. Yeah, unmute yourself. Unmute, unmute.
Okay, so what is the general perception for those who invest in stocks and other things, in shares and all that? Generally, people who are in your profession or other than the financial profession, they think it's a gambling sort of a thing. But if you invest wisely and if you keep the stock for a long period of time, and if you know what it is and how to go about it, you definitely, it's not a gambling. It's a very good investment, and it's a way to build up your money more better and more secure. While like people who do the intraday or do the daily stock thing, they fall into trouble. But people like Warren Buffett, who have already always thought long term and always have kept their stocks for long term, they are the ones who have really built up money. So the perception of people saying that investing in stocks and investing in shares and all that is a gambling is a false perception if you really know about it. That's what I wanted to say.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, madam. Thank you for the comments. Yes.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Can
Pinky.
I ask one question, please?
Yeah, sure.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, my name is Sanjay Sarangi, friend of Dr. Gopal. And I just got discharged from hospital yesterday from a kidney transplant surgery. So thanks, Dr. Gopal, for your excellent talk. As always, very pleased to hear you. We always say that stop worry and be happy. And that's what your message, to start living today. But is there any methodology as a neurologist that people should stop worry? Now, how can they stop worry?
Okay. Yes, that's a good question, and that's also I am working on that. Yes, there are two ways you can work on this. Like if you talk about, let us talk about the finance part. Now, a large part of your financial worries can be solved by putting a system in place. Okay. And then subsequent part, as per the Maslow's theories of need, the subsequent part is the mind game. As you see, that nearly most of the worries, what happens is the psychological worries. So what are the things that a person can do to stop worrying? Yes, there are books available. Like Dale Carnegie has written a book, Stop Worrying and Start Living. Once you start writing something in the paper, like why am I worried right now? You write down in a piece of paper, 50% of the worries are going to be over. Okay, let us analyze one worry at a time. Okay, now I see many my doctor friends, those who plan to relocate to another city and all, sometimes they talk to me, I tell them, okay, so what are you worried for? First write down that worry, and then find out what are the best possible solutions which are available. And third is that work on the area of your own influence. Can you influence it? And if you cannot influence, during my first talk, I have mentioned that there is something called as a triage theory of life. Triage theory means, number one, can I control this? I cannot control the rain. I cannot control the sunset. I cannot control another human being, how he is going to behave me. But I have a tremendous control on myself. And that's what the human brain is. The human brain, the God has given us the prefrontal cortex, the neocortex. And once we do rational thinking process, and we know that based on this rational thinking process, we will be able to control our worries and anxieties. And for that, some practices like daily meditation practice, one of the fundamental meditation practice, which is published in the scientific journals, is called love, kindness, and compassion meditation. Love, kindness, compassion meditation adds shorter as 20 minutes per day for 6 weeks can definitely transform your life. Number two, gratitude practice on daily. Third, forgiveness practice on daily. And fourth, Stephen Covey had said, the most of the problems happens in which area? Relationship. And next is finance. Finance we have discussed. Then once we try to understand another individual and accept another individual, then these are the methods like meditation practice, gratitude practice, forgiveness, and understanding. And then understanding the basic human needs as per the Maslow's theory, I personally believe a remarkable part of the worries can be minimized. Now, beyond this, a person can still have worries. And those worries we have to understand. And if the worries and anxieties are not getting solved, then we have to take professional help at that point of time.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Dr. Gopal.
So it is too excellent, Gopal. It was a brilliant exposition, actually. Any more questions? Shiva, are you here? Anyone wants to bring up anything and clarify anything with Gopal? Because he is one person who has been into it for quite some time, and it's not like a superficial reading he does. He's going to come out with a brilliant website very soon, and I mean, one or two books as well. We were discussing about that. We were discussing means I have no role to play in that. I'm absolutely ignorant and blissful about all these things, but Gopal is the right person. So somebody taking a different turn in life is not very common. So taking a different path is also not very common. So such people are unique. So that's what I understand. And that's how we brought up Gopal as a speaker away from academics. That doesn't mean that he is not an academician. He's a academician as well. He has to credit so many publications. So I think it's finally a balance of life. I mean, you have to be a good doctor. You have to be a very we call a good human being, and you have to have very solid concepts about life also. So I think Gopal is a mix of all these things, and I'm very proud that I'm closely associated with him for so many years. And if there are no more questions, we'll wind up and we'll be hearing from him very soon.
Ma'am, I
Yeah,
have a
sure.
question.
Oh, sure.
I'm Dr.
Get,
Chetan.
yeah, Chit, yeah.
I'm an ex-PG student of Narayana Vidyalaya. Dr. Dash knows me. I think it's a long time.
Yes. I know you very well.
How are
Yeah,
you,
please
sir? Yeah.
go ahead.
So nothing, sir. Now, after this COVID scenario has come, you might be knowing all the scheme patients getting admitted, a lot of socio-economic issues in billing pattern, everything is going on. Somewhere down the line, I was stuck up, in treating the patients promptly, honestly, because of all this, hospital pressures, all these targets, substandard treatment. Somewhere down the line, I was stuck with my honesty, truthfulness to treat the patient well. So because there is a fear of professional safety, whether we are going against management decisions, or being truthful to awareness, whether as a doctor I'm treating this patient promptly, like in par with any cash or insurance patients. So this difficulty I'm facing since 2 months. So I had to even have a heated debate with even the management also. So how to solve this thing in our profession? Because it's becoming more and more after in the last 2 decades, when there's a lot of commercialization of health and education has become.
See, this is beyond the scope of this particular talk. Actually, that needs a team approach. Okay. So, yeah. I mean, it will be difficult for me to respond in this particular forum. You have to individualize the situation. Okay. That we also face this kind of situations. Okay. See, the thing is that the business people, they might have forgotten their basic ethics. Okay. But the moment you recognize this, you bring it to the notice of the right person who are the decision makers. Okay. And most important thing, what I would suggest is that I used to get tensed in this kind of situations earlier, but that is not helping a lot. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Most important thing is we have to remain cool, and we have to approach the right authority in the institution and say that these are my concerns and worries. Definitely they will come out with some solution, and you have to persist with that. Okay. So anywhere you have felt that there is a human rules or there is a violation, definitely you have to stand for that. There is no doubt about it. Okay. There is no doubt about it. But we have to meet the right person. But if you get jeopardized by being emotional, then you will not be able to carry out. That's the whole story.
No, somewhere down the line, by talking upfront or standing for justice is being sidelined nowadays. So that's been happening everywhere, not only in our profession, everywhere.
No, that's why it is happening is that we have to understand that we are moving from an era of independent to interdependence. Actually, these organizations, they need to clearly understand that either together we win or together we perish. It is a win-win situation. Okay, the current world, the paradigm in the brain is win and lose. But when you think about win-win, everybody wins there. Okay, so I think we have to make sincere effort without ourselves being negatively affected, and then definitely our sincere effort will definitely pay.
Thank you.
Yeah, but better not to be negatively, I mean, don't take anything negative. We have to move in a positive direction and talk to the right persons.
Okay.
Because see, what happens is that when you yourself are getting so much emotional, you will not be able to have a proper discussion with them.
It's not only actually about emotional, sir, like, doing the right thing for the right cause. That's it. It's not about emotional.
I have felt it many times in our institution also, but fortunately, when I have spoken to the boss, there are many examples I can give in Narayana Hrudayalaya. We have treated a patient with Guillain-Barré syndrome the bill of 8 lakhs rupees, Dr. Devisetti told that, okay, I mean, it's okay, they need not pay. There are many such patients. There every time I make a call to him because the other people are not able to help, every time he has told yes. And there has been not a single instance which I have called that he has not helped. So definitely we have to, I mean, talk to the right person, and definitely people are there to help.
Yes.
And basically, one thing we need to understand that we have to develop the team concept. And when many doctors are together and when we create a situation of win-win, definitely we will be able to create a different environment. Okay, the problem
Yes.
what happens is that most of the time we may be focused with our own stuff. So that
Yeah.
may sometimes we may not be able to make a huge influence to the management.
Yes.
Thank you, Gopal. So, absolutely brilliant and wonderful. So we would love to hear from you again, and this will be uploaded in the YouTube. And people who have heard today, I think because it's a long weekend, because tomorrow is a holiday, still there were around more than 50 people who attended. But this has to be percolated among the other group of people also. So the people who are here can do that, and the YouTube link will be here. Put forth by Ravi Shosia. So thank you once again, and we'll meet soon. Tthank you all.
Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Gopal. Well
Thank
done,
you.
well
Thank
done.
you.